Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us again in this live Q&A for Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. We're going to be talking about U.S. immigration law for the next 30 minutes, taking your questions live as they're coming in on TikTok. Immigration lawyer John is his handle, and on Instagram, JQK Law Firm. And if you're watching the replay of this, you're watching on youtube.com, the JQK Law Firm YouTube page. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and ring that bell to get the latest updates on immigration news and stuff, and I think I give more updates than anyone else. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Immigration Momita, a friend as well. If you haven't already, follow her on TikTok and on YouTube. Great information daily as well, almost nowadays as well. It's a great resource to have. Two notes before I start. As a reminder, if you're starting a marriage-based case or a fiance-based case and you want to know where to start, you should go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card ebook. That's the first place you should go if you're interested in doing the marriage green card process. I think there's nothing better out there to get you started. You'll probably need to talk to a lawyer after that, but it'll give you the understanding you need to know what the lawyer is talking about and be able to check their work to see if what they're saying is right or wrong or if it makes sense. Secondly, this live podcast has been Monday through Friday for the last 3 months. Every Monday through Friday, but I'm gonna stop doing lives on Friday, and so we're gonna be a Monday through Thursday live show, and on Fridays I'm gonna do a private recording, which I'm still gonna put out material for that day, but it's gonna be focused on recorded stuff that's longer, not longer, it's a half an hour, but shorter than half an hour, but really hyper focused on one topic that I could fully discuss. So there's different types of content coming out, and I think you'll enjoy that. So it's a live Monday through Thursday show now, and on Thursdays we're on we're on Instagram, JK Law Firm. We're always on TikTok when we're doing these lives, so we're always there. It's a great service, and thank you all for joining. And so with that, let's get it started. All right, so we got some questions past. Let's see. Abdullah says, why is Trump so focused on how to blank that the app doesn't show me what words you're using, but I'm guessing immigration? Well, it gets them a lot of points, and a lot of people don't like immigrants. It's an easy topic to push. That's probably why they're doing that. So let's see. Let's go see what other questions are popping up. I Am Spray says, on intent to deny an I-130, you have to submit any form with all the documentation approved. Now, so if you have an I-130 petition, this is when you bring a family member in and you get a notice of intent to deny, NOID or NOID for short, what we call it. It means they're going to deny your case unless you come up with some information. There's no form to submit, but when you respond, you have to give a copy of the front of the page that has a notice of intent to deny so they could identify your case. And then after that, have attachments that answer the questions that the officer has. So if they don't believe in the relationship, or there's some document or information missing, or something else they need to do, they usually should explain in the notice of intent to deny why they're doing that, and then you submit that information along with that. There's no form for it. Now, if your case gets denied, there's an appeal process. For I-130s, I think you have to submit a form to the EOIR, not the USCIS. I can't remember exactly. I don't really have denials for I-130s, but there's some different program to be able to appeal an I-130. But nonetheless, so your question about having a form with it, no, there's no form, just a copy of the NOID, notice of intent to deny, along with evidence to overcome it. Sometimes they may want DNA evidence or something like that. So you really need to look at what they want and see what you can do to get the documents together. It sucks. You don't want to get I-130 denied. It doesn't happen too often, frankly, but it would be terrible if it does happen. Ron just asked, my girlfriend is a nurse. Does she need to leave the country while her I-140 is pending after F1? Well, you need to maintain status. So if she has an F1, F1 is a student visa. While her student visa is going, and then later OPT, she could stay here. After that, she can only stay here if she files a Form I-485, adjustment of status. And once that's submitted, you could be in a period of authorized stay, but I'm not sure when her case is going to be current for it to be able to do that. Now, nurses do have a category. I think they can file an EB-2 sometimes because there's a shortage of nurses under like a exception or something like that. But I need to know more information about that. I need to see what country she's from and her background to see which part of the chart she fits in. So whether she can stay or not really depends on the details of her case. That's why she should contact the attorney for the company that submitted for probably the hospital and discuss this because usually always an employer has to submit the I-140 if they're applying for them. and they'll help you out and guide you as to what to do. But I need a lot more information. This is too case specific. I need to know the facts of her case to be able to discuss that. Now, if you're a U.S. citizen and you end up married, you could just solve it like that and make it much easier. That's probably what you should do if you did want to get it. I don't want to push you into a relationship, you know, but that may be the way to do it. All right, let's go next. Let's see what else is going on. Sammy says, hi, brother, I have a question. Well, go ahead, Sammy. Arkin says, I was waiting for the interview date on February 2020 for my wife in Afghanistan, but still no clue. Yeah, you just have to wait until they schedule you on that. Sammy says, a Swedish citizen can travel to USA. Maybe. It depends on why they're coming, their background, a lot of other stuff. It's not a clear-cut answer for me to just say that. Alejandro says, any updates on the National Visa Center for Mexico reopening for interviews? Well, it's not the National Visa Center. It's at the Ciudad Juarez Embassy if you're going to do a green card case. And no particular updates. You should just check the website. And frankly, when they notify you. Because I could have a client that got their interview today, but you might still be another year or two before you get your interview. So there's no updates, and it's so case specific. Any information I have won't really apply to you. Just your case is your case, and other cases are other cases, and you just have to be patient. Anna says, my wife's a green card holder. She filed for adjustment of status for me. She can change job during my application pending. Probably. I mean, a part of the process for adjustment of status, your wife filed an affidavit of support for I-864 that shows she's making, income and making enough to support you. So if the new job has that and she's just transferring and still making that money, is fine. Just bring it up at the interview, have pay stubs to show that she's still making that money, but just change the job. I don't want you to be stuck in some job just for the sake of the paperwork. But if she goes unemployed or something like that, that's going to hurt your case when you go to the interview, if she's not making money at the time of your case approval, if she doesn't have the income needed. But if she's changing the jobs, just have an offer letter, just have pay stubs. So when you go to your interview and they ask what you do, and you say I changed jobs from what was written in the initial I-130, you have proof that you have the new job and it makes enough money to satisfy the affidavit of support from I-864 requirements. And so that's just an important part. But this is case-specific information, so I need to talk with you in person to say do this or do that. So this is just general guidance. I told you right here, you should consult with an immigration attorney about your case to see what's appropriate and what's not. But that's a general thing that looks at. But again, this is case-specific. I need to know what was going on in your case to advise you what to do. So just schedule a consultation. And she says, please, we need updates on I-485. I-485 could have 1,000 different updates that may not have to do with you. I need to know your case. And secondly, every case is different. Some field offices are doing interviews, some are not. Some are doing things differently. That's too general for me to be able to answer. I am surprised. Says, thanks, you're welcome. Anchor says, my husband is on a J1. Can we extend it? A J1 cannot be extended that easily. There's limitations. There's maximum time limits on how long it could be extended. You can maybe change status to a tourist visa potentially, but we got to see what's going on with your case. So schedule a consultation. It's too case specific. We got to see exactly what's going on with your case and what's happened with it. It might have a J1 2-year home requirement, for example, that prevents certain things from happening. So you need to consult a lawyer in private. Ranjit says, my girlfriend is from Nepal. Her I-140 received by USCIS on July 7. Her OPT expired in December. This is too case specific. I'm not her attorney, so I can't give you this kind of advice in a public forum. She should talk with the employer's lawyer and have her review it, or schedule a private consultation, have her, so we could do a video consultation and I could look over her paperwork and give an exact answer. This is just not an appropriate forum for me to give case specific advice like that. You're welcome, Arkin. Kolwan, thank you for joining. Vikram says, how long I have to wait before I can apply for a green card? I have been here for 3 years on asylum. Well, if your asylum has been approved, you can file for a green card 1 year after the asylum is approved. So, if you had the actual asylum, now some people say on asylum, and they really have an asylum case pending. So I don't know if you're factually saying it right or not, but if you have fully granted asylum, then 1 year after a grant of asylum, full 1 year, after that you can file for a U.S. Green card, lawful permanent residency, and then probably 4 years after that, if you maintain the proper residency and all the other things, you could file for U.S. citizenship. We have a question on Instagram. Derek says, how long it takes to get a refund, immigrant visa, AOS fees for NBC? They charged me twice, so I request. I don't know, that's a banking question. That's not an immigration question, brother. Just reach out to them. What are you doing, man? All right, let's see. I don't mean me, but that's not something that immigration lawyer handles. Fiba says, I'm a green card holder. Can I apply for my parents? No, a U.S. citizen can only apply for their parents. A green card holder can't apply for their parents. I'm sorry. Thanks for asking your question, though. Arkan says, where could I find the embassies reopening like one in Afghanistan? Well, go to their website, email them. You know, the website is their public face. Go to their Twitter page, go to their Facebook page. They do post a lot of information on Twitter that they don't post on their website. The embassies are not good at communication. They're not client-facing and stuff. So it's always been a black box dealing with U.S. embassies. Some are better than others. But throughout this, I constantly check different embassy websites, and there's no updates. And I'll go to their Twitter page, there'll be an update, and that update is wrong. So there's no answers to this kind of stuff. So I say, you know, go to the embassy to check, because that's the source. But almost all the questions everyone is asking about how long things take to move forward, when my interviews happen, when this embassy will open up, no one knows. Even the embassy doesn't know. So you all just got to be patient. That's the only thing we could do. Okay, David says, a friend came to visit, was denied entry, and her visa canceled. What is the process to get her visa back? Well, we have to analyze that case. I need to talk with her to see what the reason for the denial is. Maybe she was deported and she has a 10-year ban. Or maybe she did fraud or misrepresentation, she has a lifetime ban. Or maybe they made a mistake and we could just contact CBP, or maybe the embassy, get a new one. And this is too fact specific. I need to see the transcript that they took from her when they're removing her from the United States, either what's called voluntary withdrawal or expedited removal, to see what accusations they made and what happened, what questions they asked, and why they did that. And then we can analyze it. So definitely have your friend just consult with an immigration attorney in private. That's the way to do that. Sammy says, my wife has Swedish citizenship, so she can get a visa by herself to visit me, or I need to sponsor her. Well, there is no sponsorship for a tourist visa. It's something that your wife would apply on your own. Whether she could come, whether she needs a visa, I need to know more information about her background. People from Sweden can use ESTA, the visa waiver program, if they have a clean background history, they have no criminal history, or overstays in the U.S., or other issues, criminal history, they don't have that. But I don't know enough information about your wife, and this is too case specific. I need to have a consultation with your wife and break down the process. So that's that. Just consult with an immigration attorney in private. Abdul Shah says, will the USCIS respond for my expedite request by email or by sending me a mail address? It can be either or, and sometimes, like I had an expedite request I made a month ago, and they were supposed to email me, and a week goes by, I still didn't get an email. It's supposed to be responses within 5 days. And I call up, and the officer that picked up says, you need to wait 30 days. I'm like, that's not the procedure. So I hung up, called back again, and the officer said, oh, we emailed it to you. This is your email, and they had typed my email wrong. So over the phone, I will resend the email, but that's going to take some time. Here's the information you need. And they gave me the info I need. I just wrote it down and I did it. So it should be my email, maybe by mail. Maybe you don't get it at all. And this is why you have immigration lawyers, because this is experience and be prepared and spending the time on the phone with them and saying what to say, what not to say. But probably by email is the way it's going to happen. You're welcome, Anchor. Raju says her lawyer is just slow. He's discouraged. Her clinic for premium processing is frustrating. Well, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to schedule a private consultation, I can talk with her, see what's going on. But I'm not your attorney. If I give case-specific guidance, I'm on the hook. I'm responsible for the information I say. So I don't want to, tell people what to do without knowing everything. It's too dangerous for your case. You could make a major mistake because it's something I'm in a room alone telling you. So definitely just have her schedule a consultation with me or some other lawyer and take it from there. Sammy says, I'm a U.S. citizen. I want to bring them here. Do I need to sponsor them? Sammy, I lost. You got to have all your question in one because I lose track of what your previous question was. I'm not sure who them is when you're saying them. Let me see, Sammy. I lost track of all the questions. So sorry. Okay, so sorry, my parents. Okay, yeah. If you're a U.S. citizen, you can file for their green card. Just schedule a consultation. There's consultation fee with my office. I'll need to have a video consultation with you and your parents, and just go through all their background history and explain the process. But if you're a U.S. citizen, you can start the process for them. Whether it's approved or not, we got to talk about it, explain what the situation is, but you can definitely start the process. Kyra says, I filed for I-485, it's a green card in the U.S. based on marriage, fingerprints in February, no updates since then. What you do is you wait, and then when they call you, they'll call you. Let's see. Milan says, I'm in the USA and about to marry a U.S. citizen. How long will it take for my conditional green card to come, there's no answer to that. It's going to take how long it takes. But for information about that, definitely download the ebook, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's the website to go to, marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and download the ebook that breaks down the process. But a timetable question in light of COVID-19, it's impossible to answer that question. Della says, I'm currently a sophomore year in high school and want to become a lawyer. Any advice? Well, you're really early in life. Although it's good to be, that's around the time I decided to be a lawyer too, but keep your options open, look into a lot of different things, and if your life comes to being a lawyer, then that. But the impression anybody has, 99% of the public have, of what being a lawyer is not actually what it is. So, get to know different lawyers and how they live their lives, and there's different areas of law that are completely different. The way I practice law, there's only probably about the hundreds of thousands of lawyers that are out there. There's only probably 5 lawyers that practice law the way I do, which I think is great and I love my life. But most people don't do it like that. So you got to find what's good for you and it fits your lifestyle, and the costs associated, opportunity costs of going to law school, and the price, and how the market's going to look in the future, and what other things they are. It's a big decision. I would say just get a lot of experience in different areas, get to know a lot of people, work on your writing skills, work on your speaking skills, and networking. And then, if you decide to go to college, which I don't necessarily recommend for everybody, then when you're in college, keep doing that. And then when you're in your junior or senior year of college, then make the decision that you want to do the LSAT or whatever test they have at that time, and you can take it from there. We have a question on Instagram. Hirok says, I filed for my parents' I-130, got a case number, but when I check the case status, I get an error. What is happening? So that's an issue that I've spoken about here. I have a video on that too on JK Law Firm's YouTube page. But essentially, the USCIS case processing check does not always work. There's glitches in the system. I have an employment authorization, EAD, a work permit request right now that has a situation. We have another person who's been posting that they have the same issue on our lives and stuff. So it is what it is. It's just an error on their part. Just keep an eye out if your parents' case is taking more. You have a receipt number. If it's taking more than 6-8 months, or maybe 9 months, then maybe contact them. It's hard to say what to do. It's just an error that you have to deal with and wait to see what happens. I am She Queen says updates on I-45 based on SIGIS. I am She Queen. We can't ask these updates questions. It's too broad. Updates on America. I'm like, well, COVID-19, you have war, you have, I don't know. It's just too broad for me to answer that. Argan says, thank you, you're welcome. Madigan says, what's new in immigration? Well, you haven't been watching this live program we do every day. There's a lot going on that's new in immigration. So definitely keep subscribing, you'll get it. Ranjit, you're welcome. The town says, can't someone on an O1 visa work outside of the arts? So an O1 is a visa for people with extraordinary ability. When they apply for it, they have an itinerary that says specifically the kind of work they're going to do and what kind of related work they're going to do. So if you have an O1, you have an itinerary and a breakdown of what jobs you'll do and the things that are associated with it. If you go outside of that, you're violating your status and doing unauthorized employment. So I don't know what kind of work you're doing. Arts is too general. I need to see your O1 case, your I-129 application that's been approved, along with the attachments, the itinerary, and all that kind of stuff. You probably had an immigration lawyer help you, so ask them. But if you need a consultation, just schedule a consultation with an attorney to talk about and go over it to see the limitations and the walls, the ceilings and the walls of how far you can stretch your O1 that's related to your primary work. But if you've got one for the arts and you're working outside the arts, then it may be completely unauthorized employment, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's a status violation. Kamarat says, hi, do you have any idea if MVC is working and how long will it take to give an interview date? MVC is processing case like normal, and you'll get an interview date whenever they get around to your case. That's the only answer to that. Ranji says, last question, are all USCIS processing are delayed right now? No, I'm getting I-130s, I-129Fs, work permits approved during regular processing time. So it's not all delayed. It's just certain interviews are backed up, but that's that. You're welcome, Ranjish. All right, Isidra says, hi, I'm in the US. I got my EL. I'm not sure what an EL is. You have to use a terminology. Waiting for biometrics, but it seems like they're sleeping. Well, the biometric centers had been shut down because of COVID-19. They're starting to open up from the 17th, but not for every city, not for every jurisdiction, and they're slowly opening up, so they don't have slots for that many people every day because they have to be protected for COVID-19. So few people come in, they have to be very careful about the interaction, all this kind of stuff. So you just have to be patient for when that happens. Not they're sleeping, it's just a risk, a public health risk that they're dealing with. Dinesh says, my friend's asylum case approved in 2020. He will apply for a green card in 2021. Is this year wide be calculated when you gotta write full sentences, but your friend, if they're not married to a U.S. citizen, can file for citizenship if they get the green card 4 years after getting the green card based on asylum. Essentially, just see what the issue date of the green card is when they get it at 5 years. So that's when the time when they could file for U.S. citizenship, potentially 90 days sooner if they satisfy other requirements. But if they're really interested, just have a consult with an attorney. Okay, Sidra says, should I wait for a new green card for travel, or you recommend for me to go visit? I don't know. I don't recommend anything to you, Sidra. You're not my client, so and I don't know your case specifically, so I can't answer that. Seriously, I filed as a waiver. So if you have an I-751, is what you're talking about. Generally, no. Don't mess around. You don't want to be outside, but that's that. Kamira says, thanks, sir. God bless you. Thank you as well. So yeah, Sidra, it's not recommended, but you do what you got to do. I don't know what to tell you. Fabio says, my husband is in Canada. Can he get a work permit? He has a 10-year U.S. visa, visitor visa. Well, can you get there? Canadians have the option of using what's called the NAFTA TN visa if they're in certain job categories and they have employment for that. So whether your husband can or not, I don't know. I need to know more about his background and what he's doing and if you're a U.S. citizen, maybe just get a green card. I don't know. But I need to know more information about your husband's background first and what options and education he has, all this kind of stuff, to see if a particular option is available to him, or if he's an investor, he has the money to invest to start a business or something like that. I have a video I posted on youtube.com for JQK Law Firm that talks about options for professionals that are Canadian and Mexican to come to and work in the United States. So you can check that out. It'll give you some advice there. Naresh says, how long will it take to get the reply after mail out your case? 1 week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe you'll lose it, who knows. You're welcome, Dinesh. Krista says, I got an I-130 approval for my marriage. I applied for GN, usually how long it takes. I'm not sure what a GN is. There's no the terminology like that, and there's no answer to how long it takes. It takes however long it takes for them to get back to you. So all I can say is be patient. There's no other answer that's factual that can be made to that question. So sorry, this time my question, I know it's very important for people, but it's just no answer. So just be patient. Do the work and live your lives, and when it happens, it happens. You're welcome, Naresh. Thank you so much. So I had some good news. GC, it's a green card. Okay, because you wrote, I saw GN, so you meant green GC. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. So this morning I was at USCIS. We got an interview appointment at 6:45 a.m. and I almost overslept. I forgot to put an alarm, but luckily I just wake up early anyway. So I jumped in the car, went and did an in-person interview. And so it was a naturalization case. This is when you file for U.S. citizenship, called naturalization. We went there, we checked in, and there weren't that many people there. The seats were all separated so people don't get sick or something like that. And the officer called us, a very kind officer. We sat down. They had a window between us and the officer. Everyone's wearing masks, no interaction, touching each other, that kind of stuff. And as the lawyer, had to sit separate in a distance from the applicant for citizenship. So we have our own distancing. And we went over the case. It was pretty straightforward. They used like a tablet for him to write certain things on there and to correct stuff. So his hand was touching that. They say in the notice to bring a pen with you, but we used the tablet at the field office where we were at. So that when they asked, like, write this, they wrote that there, or check the work there and sign here. They signed on that tablet. And they, luckily everything was good. The client was approved. And they said, okay, just wait here a couple hours and we'll do your oath ceremony. So that happened, and that's the thing. At most field offices, they're doing the oath ceremony, because when you file for citizenship, once they approve your case, you have to go and swear that I'm going to be an American, all this kind of stuff. That's a requirement part of it. So usually you get approved at the interview or later, but they schedule an oath ceremony many days or weeks afterwards. Now, some field offices do it sooner or some later, depending on how busy they are. But luckily now, because they don't want you to go and come back for COVID-19, and historically these oath ceremonies had like 1,000 people or hundreds of people in there. It was a mass event. But here they don't want more than like 10 people at a time, to prevent health risks for everybody because of COVID-19. So my client just waited there a couple hours after his approved interview, and they did an oath ceremony, immediately printed the naturalization certificate, gave it to them, and thank God he's a citizen now, and he could file for his passport, and if he wants to file for his brothers and sisters or parents, he could do that immediately. So that was a great news, and I just want to give you a heads up on how the process happens when you are dealing with U.S. citizenship, naturalization during this COVID time. I hope that information helped. All right, so we got some questions. Krista says, sorry, my mistake. Anyways, thanks. You're welcome, no problem. Madigan says, I'm an F1 student and listed as derivative in my husband's asylum case. Should I apply for EAD card or no? Well, you can always apply for the EAD card. That's not going to do anything. But if you use the EAD card, I have a video on this on JK Law Firm's YouTube page as well. I've been asked this question and I've put it there. But my interpretation, and interpretations vary, is that if you get the EAD card, EAD is a work permit card, and then you go around and work, that invalidates your F1 student visa status. So if you have a really solid asylum case and you know for sure it's going to get approved, we can't never know for sure, but it's so solid, then it doesn't matter if you go out of status with the F1 visa. But if it's iffy or not positive, it's better that you maintain the underlying status that you have in the United States, the F1 status, and not lose that by working. Now, you may need the money you need to work, and it's a private decision. These are kind of stuff we talk about privately to look at your personal situation to make a judgment from there. But it's my legal opinion that if you have an EAD card and you work on it, that's going to invalidate. Now, if the EAD is based on asylum. Now, if you got an EAD based on being an OPT, a work permission you get as a student after you graduate, then that's a different thing. But if you just get a general EAD card based on asylum and you start working, that's unrelated to your F1 status and unapproved by your school's international office, the designated school official or DSO, then I think it's going to undermine your F1 visa status, invalidate it, and then if your asylum case is not approved, then they're going to put you in removal to kick you out of the country. You'll get another chance at the asylum if you're not in removal already, but there's risks involved. So it's a personal decision if you should get that or not get that. As always, this is general education only. If you want personal advice, you should consult here in private because there's a lot of things about your personal life we don't know. So I really need to know everything to give you guidance on that. But generally, I have some pointers I wanted to put your way so you're familiar with it. All right, Lover says, my status changed online saying the case is ready for an interview. How long will it take? Well, I did a video on this as well because I get asked this question 10 times a week. There is no answer. You just have to wait, and whenever they get around to it, they'll schedule your interview. But for these videos, just check out jklaw.com. I'm sorry, go to youtube.com and check out the JQK Law video page. Somaya says, for my husband's green card visa, the processing time is over the mentioned time, and the web, what's next? Well, if you check correctly and it is outside regular processing times with USCIS, you contact USCIS and say it's outside regular processing times. They have an option on their website for this, or you could call it in, but we have to make sure it is actually outside processing times. Myra Walid on Instagram says, how much time it takes to get approval for I-130 in Vermont office? Well, you should check out USCIS.gov. They have a timetable for this that gives you a bunch of false timetables. So if you want a false answer from an official source, that's the place to go. But in reality, it'll take however long it's going to take. But check out USCIS.gov for their estimates of processing times. All right, so, and the thing is, when you say I-130, there's 5 different types of I-130 filings. There's a lot of case background questions about the beneficiaries and yourself need to know. So this question is just too broad to be able to answer here. But if you want something, go to USCIS.gov. That's the best place to go for timeline questions. And we could, if I review your case, we could spend 20 minutes and discuss timelines if you want to do that. But that's an individual case, and that requires a consultation. So that's that. But thank you all for joining. This, as I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be doing this Monday through Thursday now instead of Monday through Friday every weekday. I'll have to go back and update previous video descriptions or something. I don't know if I'm going to bother doing that or not. But I won't be here tomorrow as I usually would on Fridays. But I'll be back on Monday. Monday, as always, we're going to be on TikTok, which we're every weekday we're doing it. But we're going to be on Facebook, JK Law Firm. But the recording of this will be on YouTube, so you can catch it later if you missed it. And if you want to get through the half an hour quickly, just make the speed 2x. You can listen to it much faster that way and catch it. Asmai says, my husband's case for green card status says ready for interview since April. Do you think will change? I don't know. That's me guessing. I can't tell the future. Okay, so if we get one more question, that's it for today. We're about to end of the show, and please don't make it about how long things take, because that question is it's just too much for me to handle right now. Sorry, I know you guys don't mean it in a bad way, but it just fills up way too much of the show's time asking how long things take. And it's not a fair question to ask, because I don't know, I can't guess, you know, because I really want to do good. I want to answer stuff that helps you, but it's just not something I have an answer for, so it puts me in a difficult position. But I guess, well, that's it for today. Hi Elham, thank you for joining. Elham Sadri, if you're on Instagram, definitely follow her, and if you're on TikTok, check her out. She's a great immigration attorney in Northern California, so if you have cases over there, that's a great resource to reach out to. All right, so I guess with that, we'll call it a day. I'll be back again on Monday, as I said. If you haven't already, check out the, people watching this live won't see this, but I'm recording my different social media sites that are right there to my left-hand side or something like that, up or whatever that is. Stage right, or I don't know what those terminology is, but nonetheless, check it out. And we have a lot of material on YouTube, and more postings than any other immigration lawyer, talking about every subject you could think about. You'll find it there, and I try to keep them short. Now, if I had longer videos, like constantly 5, 10, 15-minute videos, YouTube would like me more, and I'd have more attention. But I don't want to talk 10 minutes like other people do, and just to get 2 minutes of information. I like to get straight to the point and give you the answer, so you don't have to, like, because YouTube wants you to watch more so they could, you know, make more money from you in some way. But I don't want you to watch me talk for 10 minutes about who I am before I get to answering a question and being vague about it until I get down to it. So really, the best thing to do is just subscribe to the JK Law Firm. That's where you'll get straight to the answers. Look at the video library. Almost all your questions are already answered there, but I'll keep doing more videos, and that's that. Asma says, sorry, but do you think I should do something or just wait? Asma, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. I don't know what your question was. Asma, my husband's, I don't know, Asma, probably wait, but I don't know your case to tell you what you should do. You should have honestly had an immigration attorney so they could be on top of this and follow with you. Most likely you just need to wait, but without knowing the details of your case, I really can't answer that. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. We'll be back again Monday on Facebook, JK Law Firm, on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, and the recording here, the YouTube page for the JK Law Firm. Thank you all so much. Be safe and God bless. Bye-bye.